Today, I've got an incredible video that we are going to be going over 10 privacy and security tools that I recommend all of you take a look at and see if they're right for you. Privacy and security is something that all of you should definitely take serious. And we're going to break down my EDC kit that fits in my EDC backpack. Normally, I wouldn't show you guys this, but because my docuseries is getting ready to come out and you're going to see me actually live like a ghost in the real world, not here on set, well, I figured I would show you guys some of the tools that I use every day. And if you happen to watch that docuseries, will be in that. More details about that coming soon, how you guys can get access to that. Anyways, let's get into Operation Privacy and Security Everywhere. All right, so this is my kit, this leather kit that unrolls. I've got my ninja tools here, and I'm gonna break everything down. Some of these I've done standalone videos on, some of them I'm gonna be doing standalone videos, but I'm gonna give you guys an overview, and I'm gonna let you know which ones you should use and which ones might be a little overkill for some of you. It depends on if you live a real ghost lifestyle or not, like I do. So, first thing is a bug detector. I've done a full breakdown on this very bug detector. I have two. I've got a really expensive one, and this is actually a really cheap one. I use this really cheap one all the time, works well. I broke down why everyone should use a bug detector. Side note, it's not about you, it's about the shortest distance to exploit anybody. It's kind of like identity theft. They're typically not going after you, they're going after somebody, and because most people make themselves a target, bug detector is vital. I highly recommend it. You can watch my dedicated video if you want to understand why, because most people don't talk about this, but there's a few reasons that I break down in that video that are actually very important for everybody. Next one is Wi-Fi Pineapple. Should you run out and get a Wi-Fi Pineapple? Well, I do pen testing. We do what we call good guy hacking. Go to DevCon, and there's like half a dozen events here in Vegas that are incredible. Wi-Fi Pineapple, if you know, you know. If you don't, you can look up and see what these do. Spoofing Wi-Fi, there's a lot you can do with these, and I highly recommend them. This is a mic so I can stay directional. It's a Rode mic, so for motorcycles or to plug directly into your device. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be talking about all my phones. You've seen my phone system. I keep 4 phones with me at all times. My laptop system. I've done videos on all that. These are just the tech that help keep me private and secure when I'm on the go. So having this mic is vital for phones. Next thing we're going to get into is something that's pretty cool. iPod, iPod Touch, circa 2008. No Wi-Fi, no internet on this, no data on this. This is basically the epitome of a cold device for not even a camera. There's no camera. There's a place where a camera ends up being in the future. 2008, this is when Apple really was a privacy and security company. This is back in the Steve Jobs era. This is loaded with some of the best music in the world. And even though it's not a technical privacy device, if you listen to music, audiobooks, things like that, I recommend you have a quote unquote closed device or cold device over a hot device that has Wi-Fi and other tracking signals like Bluetooth, IMEIs, and all these different signals that we broke down on my burner phone videos. But this isn't a phone, it's a cold device that is very handy. So some kind of iPod or some kind of MP3 type player, if you are going to be bringing signals in, is not a bad idea. Now we're going to get into some of the little stuff, and then I'll get into some of the bigger stuff. One thing is, wherever I go, I set up cameras so I can keep my spatial awareness, and I've got apps that these plug right into. You can see that it's USB back here, and then this little camera. And the cool thing about this ribbon camera is I literally can put it anywhere. So when I stay in hotels, in my docuseries, this is one of the cameras I use. I set up a security system whenever I stay in hotels, whenever I go anywhere, if I'm working at a workstation, office, home, on the road, airports, etc. For spatial awareness and a lot of other reasons. I'll be doing a dedicated camera breakdown for on-the-go cameras, but this one is vital. Highly recommend it. Also, you gotta have ears everywhere. We're gonna get into how I utilize these ears in a minute. These are just 9-volt battery bugs. You see the CIA, NSA use these kind of devices as well. I make them in my makerspace. I build and modify all my devices. And we'll be doing more tutorials. A lot of people tend to love the tutorials that I do when I do the actual physical breakdowns. Get in the shop, get some work done. But these are some bugs that we utilize for spatial awareness, both for you could use them for motion sensors. You could use them for so many different things. So I highly recommend having some of those. Next thing, I talked in a recent video about juice jacking. These are those juice jack ports, so you never want to plug into a USB port like in a hotel lamp or at a friend's house, because you never know who's put malware in the device, which is becoming shockingly common, especially places like coffee shops and airports. So you can see this is, oh, dropped it. This is a USB-C, and this is a standard USB 3.0. Couple options. They make them in pretty much every device, but these are a couple that I use at all times. I got a whole bunch of them in here. Another thing that I highly recommend you have with you at all times, if you're using a laptop especially, is a mic lock. I've done a couple dedicated videos, but a mic lock is vital for audio because it's a lot easier nowadays to hack into audio devices, especially devices that send signal. And in the world of Internet of Things, basically, I mean, your fridge, your washer and dryer, your thermostat, your house's meter, you might not even have a say. Your house might have a smart meter and you don't even know it. In fact, there's ways where you could bounce signals off of solar reflectors. There's so many different options nowadays. So having a mic lock and starting to lock down your microphones, a lot of people can listen to you on accident. It's kind of like when Google accidentally hacked into several thousand Wi-Fis. They were supposed to be password protected, but because most of these Wi-Fis are so weak, they hacked into it on accident. Next thing is something that is you must have. I've done a dedicated video on this. That's a YubiKey. It's a hardware authenticator. So if they don't have this, it's kind of like your crypto wallet. So I've done a few videos on my crypto wallets. I don't keep crypto wallets in here. Those are in a separate, secure place in a slick that I create, which we'll get into that. But for a authenticator, this is a USB-C YubiKey authenticator. I can plug it into my laptop, I can plug it into my phone, and if I need to authenticate anything, that way you have to have a hardware device, and you also have hardware backups that I keep in one of my safes. So unless you have physical access, it can't get hacked, right? So it takes away a lot of your exploits and vulnerabilities that almost all of you have. And if you're not living a ghost life, you already have several vulnerabilities. So this is gonna help you. Once you become a ghost, you need to stay a ghost, and this is some of the tech that I utilize. You'll notice one thing, I don't wanna brag, okay? This is what I do. So this stuff is actually fairly inexpensive, and this is what I wanna point. I'm gonna show you guys some really expensive tech soon, not to brag, not to be like, oh, because I make a lot of money. No. Just to show you the levels to this stuff. But one thing I want to say is, even for a guy in my position financially, most of this stuff, pretty much 100% of you can afford. So this is not bragging. This is base model stuff that literally I have multi-millionaire clients who use a very similar kit to this. And a lot of my clients, if you go through the Ghost program, we, towards the end of the program, we break down kits tailor fit to your lifestyle. Everyone's going to need things a little bit different, but I digress. I can go on forever, as the viewers like to point out in my videos. So those are the little devices I have, just a whole bunch more juice. I keep like half a dozen because I never use USBs, even my own. And I know that I'm more secure than most people, my security system, everything I got. But even with that, I don't trust it. So I always, juice jacking is a really big thing, and a lot of people don't understand how big, and they're not careful. You go out there willy-nilly. Let me break down some of this. This is one of the most important devices. If you have one, well, okay, they're all the most important devices. I say that every time. I give like 12 of the most important. This is a Raspberry Pi. Now, I talk a lot about Raspberry Pis because one of the best computers. This is a USB stick Raspberry Pi. I can plug it into my Linux computer. I can plug it into my MacBook Pro, whichever computer I got with me. And I've got a VPN right on here. I've got a virtual machine right on here. I've got a mobile operating system right on here. I could manage my security cameras and my audio system from this. The power of and this is, again, we're talking money. The reason I'm talking money is I want you guys to know, because I get a lot of comments like, yeah, Cody, it's easy for you because you're financially successful. Guys, these are like $8 for like 4 of them. This is like $50. This I bought 12 years ago or 14 years ago, right? This is like 30, 40 bucks. You can make these. I make these, they're 10 bucks, right? This is 20 bucks. This might be 100 bucks, right? So a lot of these devices, nothing here is super expensive. I want to be crystal clear. This Raspberry Pi, like 12 bucks. And I think another 8. So let's say 20, because I got this case with the USB stick, and you can plug it in and utilize it. USB-C, SD card, it's incredible. So definitely have a Raspberry Pi. If you don't have a bigger Raspberry Pi, which I'm always using Raspberry Pi OSs for everything, I got about half a dozen of them. But I even do crypto mining. I got a video coming up on crypto mining on a Raspberry Pi, like it's incredible. But this, you're not gonna get a lot of crypto, but it's still cool that it can be done. This is really cool, and I highly recommend Raspberry Pi Stick. Next one is a voice changer. Now, a lot of people question me about the voice changer. They're like, Cody, you're on freaking YouTube. Like, you got a voice changer? Your voice is everywhere. You got a podcast. That's literally voice. Listen, there's a lot of reasons you can have voice changer. I'm not gonna go into them here. This is actually a really good voice changer. It plugs into your phone, got headphones here, and I could have over 200 different voices. I could sound like a real female, not the auto-tune robotic one. This is a really cool voice changer, and I use this for a lot of things. This warrants a dedicated video, but I always have a voice changer. They're more important than you think, especially for call automation, especially if you're doing things off grid, things like that. You don't want to be tracked. And I also use voice changers on my burner phones, because keep in mind, one of the ways they can track you is your fingerprint and your voice print. Voice prints are a big thing. You may think, well, I'm on social media like Odyssey or Rumble or YouTube, or maybe I did an Instagram story. Guys, that's really low stakes, because how I've structured my ghost businesses and all that stuff's all offshore. So nobody really knows my actual location. Everything's brought up on VPNs and proxy servers. So that's low stakes. It's a lot higher stakes if I use my real voice on a burner phone. So that's why I have a voice changer. Always keep that in mind. This may look like a regular pen to you. It's not a pen. You think I got a pen? Well, I do have a pen. This is a camera pen. So you open this up right here. This is a USB stick in the middle. I don't know if you guys are going to pick this up, but camera lens right there. Now you might be thinking, why do you got a camera pen? Well, I use the Bluetooth for, I put it in my pocket, right? So let's say I got a pocket somewhere. One of these has, oh, right here. So I got a pocket. I could put this in my shirt pocket right here, and then I can pair it to my sunglasses, and then I can actually see spatial, wherever I am. And also sometimes what I'll do is I'll put it in my back pocket of my jeans, and then I can actually see behind me. It works really, really good. Again, for spatial awareness and for security, this is vital. Also, I always know wherever I am in a room, I always know where the exits are, I always know where the security cameras are, I always know, I basically take in everything around me. I'm always looking for potential vulnerabilities and risks. Not so much, not like nobody's chasing me or I'm doing this for anything other than I deal with a lot of high-level clients, and I'm always trying to teach them the best options, and so I have to live that life so I can teach that life. And it goes really deep. I won't get into how deep that goes with the camera pen, but these are actually really cool because it literally gives you eyes in the back of your head, or it gives you eyes where you wouldn't regularly have them, and it just looks like a nice pen, and it fits in. It fits if I wear really nice pants, and it fits if I wear some Carhartts in my shop, right? It fits no matter what. So it just works. This is just a dongle for my MacBook Pro, so I'm not gonna bother showing you this. This is a voice recorder, which is vital for more reasons than I can count. You probably have seen a voice recorder. This is, it looks like a key fob to like a Toyota or something, and even a key pops out, but it's not a key, that's a key to nothing. You see the USB on the side, and then you're probably not gonna get this, but there's a camera built in here. Reason I have this is whenever I set up a mobile workstation, I'll set up the camera, it looks like regular car keys, but then when I'm got your face buried in the computer, you can see what's going on around you. So I've always got cameras around me. If you're anywhere near me, you better believe you're being recorded, because I live in Vegas, spend a lot of time in places like Texas or Florida or California or any of these other places. You gotta be spatially aware, you gotta be security conscious. Everything's a potential threat, everything's a potential hack. So having a USB key fob, you can see where it charges here, and then I can take the data there, and the camera's right here. It's a fake key fob, it's a fake key. But when it's closed, it looks like a real key. You would never know this is not a real key. I have it sitting on the table like this, and you'll never, it's even got the buttons, right? It looks like it's got like a lock, unlock, trunk, like it looks just like a real key fob, but it's not. Now I got some really advanced tech that I can show you guys later, but this is just stuff I carry with me. This thing, have you ever seen Mr. Robot? This, remember the rubber ducky? The USB? Well, this one I modified and custom built myself, and I Frankenstein hybrided it, so there's a microphone built in, and this is actually a keylogger, and this actually has about half a dozen scripts. So if I need to extract data, this has data extraction scripts. It's got a built-in microphone. This doesn't have any cameras, but it operates similar to a rubber ducky with a bunch more features. So I kind of built that as a hybrid. And this is another thing that I highly recommend. This is an SDR, software radio. So basically, if you've ever seen an SDR, a software-defined radio, now you will need an antenna, ideally. So when I go to hotels, you'll have an antenna, and this can actually mount on the window on the hotel, or you can put it by the window. It's got a pretty decent cord, pretty inexpensive. I recommend, I've got 4 different software-defined radios. and I recommend them. This one's actually pretty expensive. Bluebird Pow! Pretty inexpensive, and so I want to show you guys this one. But the thing is, you could monitor your surroundings with software-defined radios, but also being able to tap in. So different than actually a ham operator. Understand that monitoring, you don't need a license for that. Whether or not you're a ham op, that's up to you. But there's also a lot of little tricks and hacks you can do with these that allow you to tap into your surroundings. Again, everywhere you go, you need to understand what systems are online. That's why I'll use a Pineapple. There's some pin testing devices, and if you guys want to see, I could do a whole breakdown on my actual pin testing bag at PrivacyX. So we do a lot of advanced pen testing and stuff like that for some of our clients, especially some of our high net worth clients, because they're looking for vulnerabilities before their crypto gets stolen. I mean, there was a couple recently they're making a Netflix series about that couple who stole billions in crypto. And this is becoming common. People siphoning, how many hardware wallets have been hacked? Countless. How many of these things? There was a guy who lost their Trezor wallet, and then a guy was able to exploit and hack into it. Not the Model T, the new one is actually pretty good, but I think it's like the Model 1, which is why I didn't even bring that one up in my crypto wallet video, because if it's been exploited by one person, it could be exploited by anybody, right? And so that's something you need to understand. And so you always got to stay ahead of these exploits. So this is the stuff I carry with me everywhere I go in my little leather pouch, in my saddleback leather EDC bag. And I didn't want to go through the whole EDC stuff yet. I just want to show you guys tech devices because I get asked this a lot. But I really want to drill home that this stuff is not that expensive, guys. At most, I maybe got like 500 bucks here. That's it. Like, we're not talking like 10 grand or 20 grand. I've got some really expensive tech, which I will be showing, but I want to start with the cheaper stuff. That way, I don't want this to turn into like, you need to go out and spend stupid amounts of money. You literally can live a private, secure life on the road, monitoring your Wi-Fi, monitoring your surroundings, utilizing your favorite audiobooks and your favorite music completely off grid and off. You can literally the stuff you could do. The stuff I could do with this pile of technology would blow your mind. And I'll be showing that in my docuseries that we're putting together and that we will be releasing coming up. So you guys will see the trailer for that soon. And I've actually been in California filming in LA and San Diego. So I do all the filming for this first series in LA and San Diego. So I've been out there filming, and then I'm gonna go out there one more time to film, and then it's a wrap. It's gonna be edited and it's going to be put up. So we are excited about that. I got 6 of these we're doing this year. 6, we already did the production schedule and everything. That's gonna be exciting. But anyway, guys, wanted to show you this, wanted to dump out some tech and show you what I carry with me. Appreciate your guys' support. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, share the videos, because we all know that YouTube definitely won't. So appreciate that. And yeah, have an amazing day. Go all in. Understand that privacy is a right and it's right, need to protect it, and you don't protect it and I don't protect it. You can bet the big companies, the big corporations won't protect it. Also, understand that your freedom's on the line. Your family's security's on the line. These social credit scores and the things that are happening are on the line. So fight back, push back. And by pushing back, you're living a different quality of life. You're living a different life. It's a lifestyle. Typically, I don't dump all this out on the table like this. Typically, I'm just using piece by piece, device by device, and it gives me what I need to be secure. I lost everything in 2010, and that's why I started this journey and went down this path. I was hacked, identity theft, everything. And from there, I learned all the tips, all the tricks to not lose, money and sleep and all the things that were at stake back in 2010. This was 12 years ago. Now it's way higher stakes with what the government's doing. So appreciate you guys checking this out. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.